wanted to kind of introduce myself. I am a self-published author. I know we have been talking back and forth in email for a long time. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, I started Tell Your Story as a book um,
Author.
virtual author, yeah, as a book fair, virtual book fair,
uh,
because
yeah,
we were in COVID and I'm like, we can't get out to, do the things that we would normally do to sell our books. So I'm thinking like, what can I do to, kind of introduce
keep it
everybody
going.
to somebody? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you were able to get your schedule straight and we were able to finally connect with each other.
me too. Me too. This is an honor.
It is for me too, because
Thank
I
you.
this is what the 30th year of Born to Sing.
Yes, it
Yep.
is.
Yes,
Oh my
sir.
gosh, it is 30-year anniversary.
Yeah. So, how are you doing during COVID?
I'm doing great during COVID. I don't like it. I mean, it's not like oh my God, I love COVID, but I mean, you got to make the best of where you're at. That's my attitude all the time. Otherwise, we can complain all day, everybody in line at the grocery store or at the airport or anywhere people gather, or you talk to your family on the phone, they're like, this damn COVID and this, that. It's like, this is what it is right now.
It
And
is.
if we don't look at it any different, we're going to be pissed off all the time. I mean, it's been a year. I told people, take the time during COVID to research a business that you might have had, something that you want to do, that, a dream you've always, because there's so much information on YouTube. So I'm like, if you haven't taken advantage of this downtime where everything's slowed down, then you're crazy. I mean, it was a year that you had no choice. At first, we were all at home, and then they
Yep.
opened it up for certain people to go back to work. And at that time, I was like, you know what, you guys, you still have that dream and that idea in your head that you want to create something for yourself. You don't like your job anyway. You're
Yeah.
9 to 5. Yeah, you complained that you were there every single day and you hated it. So now you're taking time at home. Utilize that time while you're home, and nobody did anything.
Yeah. I've had so many people come to me like, I want to write a book. What, advice do you have? And I'm like, just do it. Do it.
Exactly.
Get your feet
Yes.
wet and then figure
Yeah.
out, what it is you really want to do. So I didn't do the interview to talk about a lot about myself. I wanted to,
Yeah.
get into there was I was on your page the other day and somebody made a comment
Hmm.
and you were trying to, correct them and bring them back and say, why be, nasty? And I was gonna say, well, what's the fuss? What the fuss?
Exactly. What the fuss? Come on. This is
So tell me
ridiculous.
how was it working with Prince? And were you guys in the same studio working with Prince and Stevie Wonder on that song?
No, no, we only had the genius of being around the uh the privilege of being around the genius Stevie Wonder, but we didn't get to meet Prince. So he played on it, and another, usually musicians, they just come in and play and leave.
Hmm.
So we didn't get to meet him at all, but we're virtually on the same song together, so it kind of felt like we met him, but
Yeah.
no, we didn't have that privilege.
Yeah, that was it's unfortunate of his untimely passing, but his music and legacy definitely still
Yes,
lives on.
absolutely.
So, where are you now with as far as a solo album with, doing any type of reunion? This has been a year for the girl group reunions. Like, well, I won't say
Yeah,
this year, but last year and the year before. Are you guys
exactly.
still doing any type of shows together or a reunion?
No, no, I was done with that after the last little thing we did last year, for a cancer charity event that was put on by our old um, record company. Sylvia Rowan asked us to do a show together.
Hmm.
And the way that I was treated, just like we were brand new artists or work for hire, is what I felt like. I just wanted to film some of it for Maxine and I. We were doing a project together. So I suggested to her that we get someone to come in and film our parts only. This is an Envogue reunion. So let's get some of the
The footage.
so we have footage of our own, you know what I mean? So we
Hmm.
can say, we can stand outside and say, hey, we're here. We can't really film inside, but we're here and we're happy and we're excited about this. And now we have no kind of, I just want to document it. for us to
Mhm.
have something. And they said no to me and Maxine, but they allowed Rona to film and take pictures every day that she was there. So she wasn't always filming around the clock or taking pictures, but she got a good portion of it. And so did our choreographer, Frank Gatson. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to be treated like this again. There's no fairness. You know what I mean? It's like they dictate everything that happens, and they don't give us the credit of having been. We established Envogue with them the same way. We worked just as hard as the other two, so I felt like we deserved, to have somebody film it for us. And they were like, no, but we'll let Rona. Come on, yeah. So I'm not interested in doing a reunion with them. It's not a fair. We're not treated fairly.
Do you think it has anything to do with the age difference at all?
They're all the same age. They're older than I am. I'm the youngest one. Rona's younger than me.
Oh, Ronan's younger than you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Rona's younger than me.
I had a conversation with my siblings, and we had a hard conversation. And not that you guys are siblings, but you develop a sisterhood when you're with someone
You do.
that
You think
long.
so. You think so.
Yeah.
But the way that they
Well,
treated us was not like sisterhood at all. So,
yeah, and that's unfortunate because I know that even when you don't um get along or you don't see eye to eye with something, there still should be love there. And so that's
should
one of
be.
the things that I kind of focused on as far as like, I had to pull back from certain people for certain things because it didn't match my creativity or my
Right.
identity.
Right.
And sometimes people just don't understand what respecting your creativity or your space is, especially in a group. Because I have a lot of siblings.
Yeah, with family, it's a little bit easier because you have to be around each other. So you make either you get along or you stay away from each other and you find each other later in life.
Hmm.
But even just because you're blood doesn't mean you're family. And I've
No.
learned that too with family a lot. So I've
Hmm.
had people that are not my family treat me so wonderfully, and my own family, flesh and blood, not do so much. So I don't believe in staying around and making it happen or smiling when you're really hurting. And I did that for so many years with Invoke. So I'm done with that whole thing.
Oh, I completely understand.
Yeah,
When you're not feeling respected or you feel a certain type of way,
yeah,
and you can't sit down with everybody and try to negotiate something or come to some type of agreement,
hmm,
it's hard to move forward. But I know that I will say I've been a fan.
well, thank
Always
you.
have been a fan.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And so even though to the fans, it's sad to see. I did go see In Vogue in concert 2 summers ago when I was living in Ohio, and of course it
Uh-huh.
was just the three, and it wasn't the same, but you know I still love In Vogue, and so
Yes.
I was happy to be able to go, but then it was like I was missing Maxine and Dawn, and
Yeah.
so you move on the best way you know how, and
Yep.
and you send love anyway.
Yep.
Moving forward, so since that's not an issue, I know Raphael Sadiq was on the Breakfast Club recently, and he was talking about
Hmm.
Lucy Pearl and things like that. So
Yeah.
I was a fan of Lucy Pearl. Anything you sung or did, I
No,
followed. I
I
was
love
proud of
you.
you.
So sweet. Oh my
Yep,
gosh.
I did. So you're
Wow.
talking to an actual true fan. So
that
I just really we love
means a lot.
music. We grew up with it. Yeah. So
Exactly. That means a lot. Thank you.
you're welcome. And so what happened with Lucy Pearl was just more like you still wanted to do your own project.
No, it was a one off. It was a one album deal. That's all it was supposed to be.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he's apologized about his jealousy or whatever was going on in Raphael's head at the time. But it was such a magical. Sometimes people get afraid of success when they see it happening finally in a way that
Hmm.
they're not used to. He was huge with Tony, 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 but they didn't cross over pop ever. And so here he is in a group situation where it was not only a group that he was a part of, but we were on his label. And
Hmm.
I was down in the trenches with him. I told him in the beginning, he told me, I don't have a lot of money, but when, if you need something, I got your back. And I was like, I want to sign with you because I've known you a long time. I think the idea that you have for this group situation is really great. I like the idea of it. And so I'm here with you. I got your back. And he said, I got yours too. But when it came down to it, we were supposed to release the album in June. Here we are in November, and it still wasn't released. So that means that I did not have money to pay my bills. I told him my house note was due, and he said, well, every man for himself. Well, that's not what
Oh,
you told me
wow.
when I signed. Yeah, you said you have my back, and now I need you, and you're telling me every man for himself. Like, that was not our agreement at all. I wouldn't have signed with him. My house was important. So I ended up losing my house during that project, and that's why I was bitter. Anybody would be. You lose your
Oh,
house.
yeah.
Like, yeah, you didn't lose a booklet or a set of keys, or you know what I mean? You lost your house. So there's really not a lot that I have to say about Raphael. I love the project. It makes me sick that it didn't get the just due that it deserved, because we were just getting started when that year came up and it was over. But we only signed for one album, one year. So when it was over, I was over. I was done. If you would have just had my back a little bit, just Dawn, I don't know where to get the money from, but I got you. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to figure it out. I got your back. If you would have just done that, we'd still be together. It was so magical. It was a wonderful group. And I love Envogue, but Lucy Pearl, there was something more organic about Lucy Pearl. It's something more special. Both groups were amazing, but Lucy Pearl was because we came up with the name. We came up with the look that we had as far as our clothes. We came up with the sound of our music. It wasn't someone else that was influencing us. We did all that. So
Will we ever
that's me.
see a Lucy Pearl reunion? Like
Well,
if you wanted to do a performance?
let me ask you, would you reunite with someone that made sure you lost your house? Like, would you be okay with that?
Um,
Seriously? You would even consider that? You lost your house. So that means
well,
my equity and my credit for the rest of my life is affected by losing my home.
no,
I
and
had no place to live, and you're gonna say that,
I completely understand because I've been homeless. And I'm,
but nobody
just
else.
writing
No,
but I've
right.
never owned a house. I've
Mhm.
never attached myself to something that long to say I own it, which is why I'm so single at the age that I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a different type of thing, but I'm someone that I'm not saying you're holding a grudge because that's hurtful. Any type of pain that you deal with when you lose something is hurtful, and you never forget it.
Hmm.
But sometimes when you're in a different space in your life, or you say, this person may, be sick, or he may wish you, I want you to come and sing with us and just do one show just for people. But
No,
I
no.
get it. I completely
Uh-uh.
understand.
No, no. I was down and out, and I needed help, and he didn't care. And I lost my house. So I have nothing to say about Lucy Pearl. I love Raphael. Again, it's unfortunate because it was so special. There's nothing like Lucy Pearl. Even En Vogue wasn't like Lucy Pearl. We had our own thing, our own sound. Raphael should have had my back. We've known each other since we were 16 years old. I had his back. I
Oh, that's
turned
a long
down
time.
I turned
Yeah.
down a deal with RCA to do Lucy Pearl. I literally told Bob Jameson at RCA, no, thank you, because he disagreed with me doing Lucy Pearl. So I said, well, I'm just going to have to decline your offer. And I
Mhm.
signed with Raphael instead. So I had his back, and I expected for him
Mhm.
to do the same thing. So I do hold a grudge. My credit to this day is still not straight because of that. So, it's hard enough for Black people to buy anything, let alone to buy a home. And I took that
Mhm.
very seriously. And like I said, I could have had a big, huge advance by signing to RCA, but I said, Raphael, I know you don't have a lot of money. He said that I don't have a lot, but when you need me, I got your back. And he did not do that. So I don't care who's
Mhm.
sick. I have to be selfish when it comes to me. I think that's our problem. A lot of times, Black people, especially women, just women in general, we always take care of everybody else. Well, that person needs me, and this person is that. I'm like, no, I care about me. Nobody else is going to care about me. And I've seen that now. I had his back, but he didn't have mine.
Yeah, and I completely understand that on a personal sense, because you get tired of people treating you that way, and you feel like you're in the
Yes.
same, keep being in the same space, and then
Right.
you just don't get respected the same way that you put it out. But I realized that um, you don't think, and I'm not saying this was for him, um, but you don't think that men are jealous or talk in different circles about women as much as women talk about women, but it's just not true.
Men
they,
do it too. Yeah.
they do it too.
Uh-huh.
That's something that
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely learning as I get older. But I did a whole like transformation for myself as far as me moving from Ohio to I drove to Arizona because I just
Mm.
wanted to have some peace in my life and be able to do the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I had two books out, and I had a publisher that when I got my second book, it wasn't the quality that I wanted it to be. And I'm like,
Right.
what's wrong? The paper was really thin, the cover was not right. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
get one royalty check from them. And then we got
Wow.
a group of authors reached out to me about, legal pursuit. And I'm like, listen, he is an LLC. The soon as he gets slapped with a lawsuit, he is going to file bankruptcy. And that's what they did. And they closed. And I never got a payment from it, but I appreciated what I wrote and
Mm-hmm.
that people are, they know me as an author. And so next time when I put my book out, they'll know me. But it seems like the publishing is the same as far as the music industry and the as far as writing, period, as whether it's a
Right. Right.
song or a book or anything like that. You have to be careful as far as your contracts, the money situation, and things like
Right.
that, because
Right.
you'll end up in a situation. And see, with me writing, I have a job during the day. And
Mm-hmm.
so for you, you're like, that was my only income.
That's right.
And so
That's
I
right.
completely understand that.
Yeah, it was my income, and like I said, I believed in him. I had his back, and I turned down another deal just to do that deal with him because I had faith that it was going to be okay, and that he was going to take care of me like a sister, because that's what we are, a sister and brother. And yeah, it was totally different. So unfortunately, you know, it's always, we are so forgiving even after slavery and all that stuff. Here we are as black people, we forgive, we don't forget, because you can't forget, but we have forgiven, and we're still kind and we're still loving. And although our ancestors went through so much, we are still very,
Treating
very
each other
well, we're
in
treating
that
them
way.
with respect and love as if they're the saviors. And it's like, I'm not saying that we should hold them accountable for what their ancestors did, because they're no better. We're not slaves anymore, just like their ancestors are not slave owners. Or
Hmm.
they're not slave owners today, just like we're not slaves today. Um, but there's still a lot of, you know what? Atonement is very important to me. That to me shows integrity. And if Raphael came to me and said, Dawn, I am so sorry for what happened. I love you. I should have had your back. You know what I mean? And how can we amend this and make it right? And I'd be like, you know what? I'm ready. Let's just do an album. Sometimes just an apology really goes a long way.
It
Um,
does. And I
yeah.
was in a, you do expect the people that you're closest to have your back.
Yes, yeah,
So it's hurtful when they don't. And then
right.
you're standing by yourself, kind of like,
Yes,
I had yours. Where are you at when I need you?
exactly. Yes,
Um,
exactly.
so I understand that, but he sounded a little remorseful on the
Oh,
Breakfast Club.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
So maybe you should listen to that interview. And I'm not telling you to reach out, but I'm just saying that maybe there may be some hope there. Look
How
at
long
me
ago was
mending
this?
fences, mending fences.
Well, how long was this? Long ago was this, Consuela?
um, I don't know, because you know how things pop up on your Instagram or Facebook and it could be
Yeah.
posted from, I don't know, but what I will do, I'll email you. What I'll do is when we get done with this, I'll email you the interview.
Okay.
And so
All right.
it was a good interview, and he sounded remorseful, which is why I was wondering, like, if you guys been in contact,
Wow.
will there be a
Wow.
show,
Well, I reached out to Ali because excuse me, I was watching MTV one night and they had on a show called Beats, Rhymes, and Rhythms. And it was about Tribe Called Quest. And I was looking at, you know, Fife would always big me up. He did it twice on 2 different songs. My man, I'll be sure he's in effect mode. Used to have a crush on Dawn from Envogue. It's not like any different one. That little piece, that 16 bars that he did, he's done it twice on TLC's album and on a Tribe Called Quest song. So I reached out to Ali. I called him right then and I was like, Ali, I got an idea. I want to do a song because I know Fife is gone, but I want to do a song called Crush. And I want to get that 16 bars and put that on the song and have that like as the hook. He was like, oh my God, that's a great idea. I'm going to let his wife know because she was putting together an album for Fife. After his death, she was going to put together an album. So I said, okay. And then he said, and Raphael wants you to call him. I'm like, every time you tell me that, I give you my number. I tell you to have Raphael call me, and Raphael never calls. I said, give him my number. It's fine. And then when we hung up, I texted him right back and I said, Ali, hold on. On second thought, I want you to give him this text. And I just basically put it out there. I lost my house with you. I had your back in ways that nobody would. And even after I lost my house, I had to get on a plane and go overseas and go to Amsterdam and all across London, crying in tears and get in front of the camera on TV and smile, act like everything's okay. And I am depressed. I lost my house. And I told him I was losing my house and he didn't care. So he has to atone for that before I can go any further with Lucy Pearl. And he's like, are you sure you want me to? I said, yes, tell him exactly that. Like I sent a text and I told him what to, and he sent it. And Raphael, I went to walk my dog and maybe about 25 minutes after I walked my dog, I was still out and Raphael called me. And it was like, yeah, this is Raphael. Ali just sent me that text and I saw it. He said, nobody gives a that you lost your house. No, you need to get over that. What are you saying to me? Are you kidding me? Like, really? And then he called maybe about, I don't know, 6 months later, around January, and he said, I apologize for what happened back in the day. I was young when we did Lucy Pearl. And I'm like, no, dude, you were not young, first of all. We're both the same age. You weren't like 20 years old. You know what I mean? You were old enough to know better. But you just recently said that you didn't give a shit that I lost my house and I should get over that. Nobody gave a You just said that. So you haven't atoned for what you did and you haven't made up for that. So I got to do me. I got to do me.
You do, because if you don't have what's in your best interest, then nobody else will.
That's right.
And it took me a long time to, because I'm like, you know, if I keep pouring myself into these people, they'll like me, they'll respect me, and they'll do this, they'll do that. No, they're not going to do anything but make you sick. And I think that Ayala said it best. She was on some masterclass with Oprah, and she said, what's in the cup is for me, what's over pouring is for you. So if your cup is not full, then you cannot be anything to anybody else. And it's not selfish, it's self full. And I got that really quick.
Love it.
That was a life-changing moment for me. And that's when because when you stop being the person that, you know, the reliable person that everybody wants you to be, then you're changing, or, you know, they get an attitude or get upset about it because you put yourself first.
Exactly. And not only that, though, I'm sure you've heard the saying before. It's a Maya Angelou saying, and she said, when someone shows you or tells you who they are, I've heard it different ways. So when someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And that is who Raphael showed me that he is. And as much as I love our music, I swear to you, I cry when I hear his voice on our songs. I love his voice. I always have. It's not like he's a Luther Vandross, like he's a crooner or he's a Maxwell. You know what I mean? They have like these smooth, pretty voices, but he's got a thing of his own. My uncle said this one time. He's like, he's kind of like Ashley. What's his name? No. What's his name? Isley.
Ron
Isley. He's got a Ron Isley feel to him. I was like, wow, I never thought of that before. But yeah, there's something about Raphael's voice that makes me emotional. And I miss him. I miss what we did. I miss Ali, but I will not, unless he says that he is sorry, and that he recognizes what happened and that how he dropped the ball. Because again, I had his back. You wanted me to sign. I thought it was a brilliant idea, and I turned down another label just to sign with you. So that's saying a lot.
Yeah, and we also think in our minds that age, when you're a specific age, that you should
Yeah,
be a specific way.
right.
That's not true either. Because
That's right.
you may not be mentally there, or emotionally or spiritually at a level that someone else is your age. So you know, struggle is the best teacher of life
It is.
because it humbles us all. And
Yeah.
well, it should. And if it
Yeah,
doesn't
it should.
humble you, if it doesn't humble you,
Hmm.
then it's like, okay, well, maybe you're just not going to get it.
Right.
And then I always
So
say
you're
those
never
type of
gonna get
people,
it.
yeah, never
Never,
gonna get
never
it,
gonna
never
get
gonna
it.
get it, never gonna
Exactly.
get it, boo
You're
boo,
never gonna get
girl.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Some people
And then
never will, you know?
some people never will until
Yeah.
they're on their deathbed and they feel remorseful and are like, I don't want to go to hell. I don't
Exactly. I have
necessarily
to make
believe in
amends.
it in that sense, but they're like, I don't want to go to hell. I'm sorry. And
Exactly.
they're sorry to everybody. Like, you should have been sorry
Thank
before you
you. They
got
want everybody to
sick.
come. They want everybody to come to their hospital bed and make amends with them. It's like, no, you had plenty of time while you were alive. You just
Mhm.
chose to be mean and
Mhm.
vindictive. So now you're gonna die with that, and you're gonna have to hold on to that whole thing by yourself. But I feel good about how I came out of that situation. I did what I was supposed to, as far as my loyalty to Lucy Pearl. And again, that is a magical project. Nobody else sounds like Lucy Pearl. Nobody. No one.
But nobody else sounded like En Vogue either.
No,
So you
nobody did.
guys had a
No.
sound with you had a sound that
It was unique.
was unique. And two, when you got with Raphael, he knew how to, bring something special out of you with
Well, it
that
wasn't
group.
Raphael wasn't the only producer on there. Raphael was playing mostly, he played bass and a few other instruments, but I had a team of producers that I was working with before Lucy Pearl, and
Uh-huh.
Raphael liked them, and he was like, "Bring them in on the project." So I brought in Jake and the Fat Man. Bobby and Glenn are their real names,
Uh-huh.
but their production name is Jake and the Fat Man, and I brought them in. So they did a lot of the work. They made Lucy Pearl sound what it, you know what I mean? Yeah, they did a lot of the work. So they were the ones to bring that out of me.
Well, that's a wonderful thing because we don't hear that anymore in the music industry.
I
We
know.
don't.
Yeah.
Everything is this beat, and then it's like, they're rapping over it, or
Hmm.
R&B isn't what it is, what I'm used
Yeah.
to, what I grew up to.
Right.
Music industry has definitely changed. I mean, even from showing your video on TV, versus YouTube, but getting likes
Exactly.
and getting money that way, and so
Right.
forth and so on. It has been definitely interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's changed a lot, but it's
Yeah,
kind of the world we're in. You got to keep
it
up with the
is.
internet. It's the Wi-Fi world, and that is it.
Yeah.
Now, thank God for that, because at one point the major labels had it all sewn up, and we had to scrape and script to get what we deserved as artists. Now you can go directly to the fans,
Mhm.
and YouTube included. You can do your own videos for little or nothing today, as opposed to back then it was 100,000 for free your mind. Oh, sorry, 150,000 for free your mind, 80,000 for Hold On, because that was our first video, and that was 1990. But by the time we got to Free Your Mind, it was expensive. So the more hits they think you have, the more they think you have money.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So today you can do your own thing. I mean, I can use this cell phone, this iPhone 11 I got, and do my own video. It's so true. And there are kids that are doing iPhone videos. They're amazing. Like they do skateboard videos and movies, little mini movies. So the power is more in our hands today than it ever has been. The major labels were making major money, and it was unfair. The balance was not in, and now it's balanced out. You know, so yeah.
So what's next for you? What are you doing, another solo project? Will you be writing a book? I know we had talked about that, but
We did. Well, you're an author already, so I'm trying to catch up with you.
okay.
I'm doing my autobiographical book. of my life story, the years within Vogue, I should say. So I won't go for my childhood on this part, on this book. I talk a little bit about it because I have to say when my dad found my talent and heard me for the first time. But um, yeah, so I'm writing a book right now, my autobiographical book, and I also just started my own label, which is Stiletto Entertainment, like the high heel stiletto. Um, and I'm gonna do a crowdfunding campaign to raise money for my record. At first, I wasn't gonna do it. I was a little embarrassed because one, I didn't want to ask the fans for the money, and two, I didn't want to fail in front of the world. And I'm thinking, okay, Dawn, you're being negative by saying you don't want to fail because you have the option of winning and succeeding too, and you're automatically looking at failure. So I had to kind of change that in my mind. But and then I started researching like other celebrities that have done it. And James Franco, I think, asked for 600,000 and got 1 million for his movie. Whoopi Goldberg asked for 300,000 and got 600,000 or 700,000. De La Soul was asking for 114,000, which is an odd number. You would think 115, but they asked for 114, and they ended up getting 600,000.
And I know TLC did too. It was
They sure did. They sure did.
um
I was trying to think
they
of who
they
else.
did and there's a lot of people that have um requested money to fund their projects. So no, I wouldn't feel bad about that. I definitely would do it.
Right. Thank
And one
you.
of the reasons I went to see Envogue because my daughter, I have a 20-year-old that's in her last year of college. I'm really proud of her.
Wow.
Yes, I'm very proud of
Congratulations.
her.
Congratulations to
Yes,
both of you because you got her through it, you know?
yes, because I've been a single mother. I've had
Wow.
help, but a lot of it was just me at the parent teacher conferences and things like that. But
Right.
what I realized when Prince passed away, and I cried because I love Prince, loved him, but I
Yeah,
never got to see him
me
in
too.
concert.
Really? I've seen him
Never,
twice. Oh,
I never got to. I was so upset.
he's
So I was like,
phenomenal. That
you
man
know,
is amazing.
and the thing about it is when you are a parent, there's a lot of things
Yes,
you have to sacrifice to make sure your children are okay. But
sure.
I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go see everybody when I can, when I have the
Yeah.
money.
Hmm.
And so that's what I did. I finally got to see Stevie Wonder in concert too. He was
All
amazing.
right. He was what?
He was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that's Stevie. I mean,
He's like
yeah,
my favorite.
my
I
mouth
love
is open when I
Stevie.
watch him. I mean, there's God and then there's Stevie. That's what I
Yes.
always say. He's amazing.
I hate you.
That man is insane. He's incredible.
Very talented, very
Yeah.
talented. Well, when you get done, when your book, when you get your book released, let's chat again. Let's have
I would
another
love to.
interview.
Thank you
I
so
can.
much.
You're welcome. I'll kick off another virtual book fair, and I'll let you kick it off with your book.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yeah, that'll be
Wow. That is
amazing.
so sweet of you. I swear that's really amazing. Thank you.
You're
I would
welcome.
love to hear your feedback because you're already an author. You know what I mean? So, really, I'm having writer's block right now. Not writer's block. I'm just trying to. I can finish it. I can do it. I just got to push myself because there's certain things that I'm blocking out, and then there's certain sections of my book. It looked like I already wrote about it, and then I'm writing about it again. But I also had a ghostwriter, and I think he changed some things. So I'm going back and having to clean up a lot, and I haven't gotten past chapter 3. I'm actually almost done with chapter 4. But I keep going back to edit, and so yeah, I got to get out of that. But I will have it out. It will be done. It'll be done. First quarter. I want to come out first quarter by first quarter.
My advice to you is about being an author is I think I watched a interview with I think it was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I think that's who it was.
Okay.
And they said how Prince would go in the studio and he'd be one and done. And then Michael Jackson
Wow.
would go in the studio and he would want it perfect. So he would keep on going over things because he wanted it to be perfect or a certain way.
Exactly. Yep.
And neither way is wrong or right. But I will say, as far as being an author is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
um, you're
Heck.
gonna. I got into a lot of author groups, and they said it's gonna be an error. You're gonna read your book and say, "Dag, I should have put something in there," or
You should have said
"This
this instead
sentence
of that.
is messed up," or something like that. But if you just if you keep doing that, you'll never publish it.
Right.
So you kind of have to
It's gonna
get
take
in the
forever.
middle. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I
And it's
know.
important to have, it's important for you to tell your story versus somebody else to tell
Yes.
their story about you.
Right.
So that's very important too. So that's just my little 2 cent about being an author.
I
I
get it.
actually too, I want to
Thank you
send
for
you
that.
you're welcome. I'm gonna send you a copy of my poetry book. It's
Okay. Oh
called
wow.
it's called 50 Ways to Love. I wrote it because I got sick of the way we are as a country, the way that people treat each other, the way we just
Yes.
there's just really not a lot of love left in the world. And like you said earlier,
Hmm.
sometimes an apology is really all you want. And
That's so small. It's so small,
it
but so
is
significant.
it is very
Yeah.
significant
Yeah.
because it just makes you feel like that you were worth something when somebody comes
Exactly.
to you to say, I'm sorry, especially at a time that it was really hurtful and things like that. So I completely get it. But
Yeah.
that's why I wrote that
It's
poetry book.
unnecessary. We do hurt each other sometimes. There's things you say that you don't mean. And I'm sure I don't really know what was going on in Raphael's head. I know that he was the lead singer of his group, Tony. So maybe he was jealous of me. That's what it felt like at times. And then he told me he used to have a crush on me when we were kids and never told me. So maybe he was jealous of my boyfriend and just took it out on me. I don't know. Um, I just wish that we would have talked about it because we could have salvaged something so wonderful. It's very rare that you get the kind of music that we created. It's very rare that you come together and everything worked together. Everything was synergistic and beautiful. And so I love Envogue too, but with Lucy Pearl, it was us doing our own thing as artists, as opposed to producers putting us together. This was, us doing our own thing, and we named it what we wanted to name Lucy Pearl, and
Hmm.
we created the look of what we wanted to look like. We had more rock and roll edge. In our music, we created the music together, so nobody told us what to do. It was all our stuff, and that to me is extremely special. And Vogue was special too, but I'm just saying Lucy Pearl was us doing us. So I'm just sick about it. I look at the pictures and the music, and when the songs come on, sometimes I listen and sometimes I can't deal in the moment because I'm so upset about it. But I know I have to heal from that too. You know what I mean? I have to heal from that. And you never know, one day if Raphael talks to me and we have a conversation, I'm not one to hold it like I'm not one to hold it and say, well, you did this and you did that. And I'm not one to hold a grudge. So if Raphael comes to me and says, Dawn, I'm sorry for what happened. I'm sincerely sorry for what happened. Not like nobody gives a that you lost your house. That was so cold.
That was very cold. I will have
That
to
was
say that was very
beyond. That
cold.
was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Especially when you weren't over it. Like, we
Well,
losing
you never get
something,
over.
whether it's your house, someone you love, your job, when you lose something that means something to you, it's
Yes,
hurtful and it stays with you
very.
for a while.
Exactly.
And see, for
Yeah.
me, every
So,
year of my life is a different. I name it a different theme. It's like last year, I thought about Heavy D a lot because I was on a peaceful journey. I was on my journey to find my peace in my
right.
life because of so many things that I have been through. And I
Hmm.
moved far away. I
All
drove
right.
70
Good for
hours
you.
to
Yes.
find it, and I don't regret it. But in my peaceful journey, I had to learn how to forgive people that I know that'll never apologize for things that they have done that were
Wow.
very hurtful.
Well,
And
I've
that's very powerful. It's hard, but I've had to
yeah.
do it for the
Oh,
sake of my sanity and the sake of my kids'
yes,
sanity.
I get you. I get you. I get
So,
you. It's very difficult. Again, all I need is I'm sorry and I've forgiven. Everything is. I won't even bring it up ever again. But I need those words because,
but
like
in
I
your
said, it's
time,
like I
in
said.
your
I did.
time,
Yes, exactly. But like I said, I didn't leave. I didn't lose a jacket or leave something in his car, like my shoes or a book or my keys or even my cell phone. I lost a house. So there's so many repercussions that come from that. Your credit is still affected. My credit is still affected, still messed up today because of that, you know? So I wish that, I hope that he comes around and doesn't play it off like it didn't mean anything, because I am important as a human being, you know what I mean? And no
Yes,
more important than anyone
absolutely.
else. I'm just saying I deserve that, at least that. And we'll see. And if not, then it wasn't meant to be.
Well, you got a lot of projects going on, you
I
know. I feel
do.
like they'll do great.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
you have my support, and you know, as long as you lead with love and leave with love, then
Mm,
everything will work itself out. And
everything
even,
falls into place.
yep, everything falls into place. So I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate you spending this time with me this evening. I'm not going to keep
I
you because
thank
it's
you for having
Sunday.
patience. Oh my
Oh, you're
gosh. Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah, we were going
Yeah.
back and forth like, no, it's this time, and I don't know. And then I was like,
You
oh,
got to
today.
put ET in there. You got to put
Yeah.
PST so people know on the West Coast is what time. Yeah. So we got it
But
right
then I
now.
forgot that Arizona doesn't change their time at all.
Oh, wow.
So that's um
Ooh,
what kind of messed me up with the time today, because they stay in this
okay.
365 days a year, but
That's
we
good
got
for
it.
them. We're trying to
Yeah,
change that whole forward and back and stuff. I can't stand it. It's ridiculous. It messes
yeah,
you
it
up.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
All
Well,
right, dear. Well, thank you
I
so
feel
much.
like I will be in touch. Thank you
Please
for,
do.
allowing me to interview you. And
Yes, you're
when you
welcome.
get my poetry book, let me know what you think about
Okay,
it.
I
Just
sure
remember
will.
that the company that I publish with,
Huh.
don't judge me on the quality of the book because
I
of what I'm
promise. Oh no, no, please no. I promise you, and I thank you for saying that because it's not you. I get it.
yeah,
I get it.
because there's
Yeah.
people that will just pick through everything. So
Yes,
I just
exactly. Well,
want
we
you
always
to,
have to put somebody down when people put people down who haven't even done a book
mhm,
before. So come on. Yeah.
yeah,
Don't worry. Yeah, you got it.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I will
You're
be in
welcome, sweetie.
touch, and you have a
Okay.
good Sunday.
Thank you. You too,
Thanks.
Consuela. Bye bye.
Bye.